Hi, and welcome to the SG Child Show. Today, I am joined with Joel and Debbie Pearlman, and we're going to be talking about DaniPlan. Thank you all for joining us today. It is so hot. I hope you're staying cool where you are. Well, hopefully you are. Not here in Utah. No, just joking. Because it has just been day after day. We are joined today with, people who are moving things forward in the world. And right now we're in such an interesting era of time where, for the first time ever in the last year, autism is known, even as a word, in more people's minds than ever before. Whether, we won't talk about whether that's a good view or a bad view, but that itself is actually known is such an impacting and, I think wonderful thing that we can now build from and work towards a better understanding for everyone. So it's so nice to have you both here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, so much fun. Let's just start with an introduction from you both. Ladies first, Debbie. Why don't you introduce yourself? And we'll go from there and get into more about DaniPlan.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Excuse me. My name is Debbie Pearlman. I'm one of the co-founders and creators of DaniPlan. I am also Dani's mom. We have 3 kids. Dani is our oldest. She's 26. We have another daughter who is 23 years old, living in New York City. And we have an 18-year-old son. His name is Charlie. He just graduated high school and moving on to his next adventure. And I'm just really happy to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting us to come on your podcast.
Such a pleasure to have you guys. And I'm excited to learn more about you and, the passion behind all of this. So Joel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Joel Pearlman, Debbie and I. Debbie is my awesome wife. And we, as she said, we have 3 kids. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. And I, about 5 years ago, got kind of inspired on this concept of being able to document Dani's life in a practical, easy way, and that was kind of what spurred the DaniPlan.
Oh, that's fantastic. And there's so many, I think, innovations that come from the passion, the challenge, the what us as parents go through. And when we see that, hey, this doesn't exist, why do these things not exist for me and my family? Sometimes, as like you said, Joel, I call myself a serialpreneur because I'm like, if it does not exist, I'm making it, I'm figuring out, I'm creating it. And I think that it takes us type of innovators and thinkers to move the needle ahead and to really help not only accommodate what we know for our personal living experience, but what we know others that will come, behind us and are all showing up in the world now. We know that they need these types of resources. Tell us about DaniPlan, like what it is.
You want to take it, Deb?
You can go.
Sure. So it all really started about 5 years ago when Debbie and I were really sitting on the couch and we were talking about Dani is 26 now. 5 years ago, she's about 21. She is non-speaking. She's really sweet. And we were just talking about her moving forward. If we weren't around, how would people know how to care for Dani the way we want to care for, keeping her happy and healthy and safe? I know it's something that all of us parents think about. And so we were talking about all the little nuances and quirks and OCDs and triggers that Dani has that are in our heads, but other people don't know about, things that, when we're talking to other people that understand us, we can go back and forth for a really long time talking about those little things. For Dani, she uses her phone to communicate, listen to music, look at pictures. And if it's not charged, she gets triggered. Or she'll have, if Dani was around right now, she'd have headphones on, or if not, she'd have her fingers in her ears, right? So, and she also happens to have epilepsy. If she had a seizure, would people know how to kind of handle that situation? And so It was really after this conversation that Debbie and I just decided we owed it to Dani to document her life in a way that other people would really understand. We did a lot of research to see what was out there and found that there was just a lot of static forms. And as we went through the process of using these static forms, we realized how impractical they are because they're so hard to update, right? Many of us have these big binders or folders or whatnot. But the problem with them is updating them and keeping them up to date. We're constantly needing to tweak it. It's just not really that practical. In fact, most people just aren't doing it, right? So when the time comes, it's really not going to be up to date. And that was the inspiration around creating the DaniPlan, which is a centralized hub to help consolidate and organize all the information needed to properly care for a loved one with a disability. Simple, secure, really easy to update. And then also easy to share with our support group, right? With rotating caregivers, teachers, therapists, doctors, so that we're not hoarding all of that information on our head. So it's become really an amazing daily tool to be able to share, a training tool as we're all constantly re-explaining things about our children to other people so that there's care continuity. No one's making a mistake because everybody can have a DaniPlan in their fingertips right on their phone and be able to look step by step how to do different things. So anyway, that's a long-winded kind of response to what the DaniPlan is. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So is it an app then, or like a software or?
Yeah, great question.
Web app, kind of.
Yeah, it's a web-based application that is extremely mobile friendly. So we did that purposely. We wanted to make sure it worked over every platform, no matter what. We are also constantly doing updates. Honestly, we view our community, people like you, Sarah, as kind of helping, like part of the DaniPlan, helping us build it. Since we started, we've added so much functionality based on our community feedback. Yeah. Could we have set up notifications? Could we have a shared calendar? How about a daily journal? So all of the notes that we're taking that we all have to keep track of, whether it's a doctor's note or tracking behaviors, can all be in one spot. All of these things have come from, people like you in our community. So
I love that. It's where I think the most important information comes from, because just like I was telling you this morning about the register, don't register access, some of us were like, everyone wants to register. They want the updates. Everyone, and we're going along with these great intentions, not realizing that there are these other half of the individuals who just want the access. They don't, and so I think that it's wonderful that we keep integrating and updating. And I think that I also build technology. I understand like the updating of it 100%. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot. I love that it has the note taking, because that is one thing for me that I'll just yesterday said to my husband, I know that I'm not supposed to talk about work, but I have to say this in my chat GPT, really fast. So don't let me forget, because it just, sometimes things just come to you, and it's wonderful to have somewhere, because obviously the system I'm using isn't designed for what I really like, that like a DaniPlan. It's very, very general. So I love that it's specific. Plus, the importance of sharing with a team and network is more valuable than ever. And we all know, just like you said, we come in with our binder. We got to search through all of the tabs and all of the things to find that one note, when we can just probably search bar or whatever it is to find the information right away. So spectacular. I'm really excited to share this.
Yeah, thank you. Debbie actually helps people when people sign up, do onboarding. And so
wonderful.
He's kind of I talk a lot at Debbie's definitely the producer of our DaniPlan for Dani and helps people. So I don't know, Deb, maybe you could tell her a little bit about
I love that
piece of it too.
Yeah, of course. So basically, after you become a member of the DaniPlan, we send back an email asking you to sign up for an onboarding session. And once you do that, I take members or users through step by step, making sure they understand the functionality of the site. We would talk about the workflow a little bit, doing a few entries together on Zoom, making sure that you have a clear path to completing your DaniPlan. We do entries, we add photos, we add documents and links. We, as Joel mentioned, we have a journal, we have a calendar. We also make entries in each of those, just so that when you get off the call with me or one of my team members, you're inspired and you're ready to go. Usually getting something like this started, the biggest hurdle to jump is actually beginning the process. And so once you become a member, we make it really easy to get you from point A to point B.
I love that.
Yeah.
And if we have this binder full of things, should we take it to the library, scan it, and put it on a file so that we can update it to the Dani plan? Is that kind of like the idea?
So it's interesting you say that. When we first started, we just had this concept or idea that we're going to take that binder and make it electronic. And we didn't really know exactly what that meant. But our developers are so incredible that once we started working with Joel and I, first conceptualizing what DaniPlan would look like, then we have a marketing partner. We also have a tech partner. And once we all started collaborating, we realized there's so much that, yes, you're going to need to do to get this going, but we've made it so simple. And so when we first sit down to work with someone, rather than saying scan, we'll talk about the process of getting your documents into your plan. So yes, I initially thought that too. Okay, I'm going to have to take this binder and scan it. But what's really interesting is once you start, we really take you through a step by step by step, the way we've created your entries and the workflow, so that that's very simple to do and follow, almost very mechanically, almost from your brain onto the page.
Love that.
But then the documents, what happens is you work backwards. I like to tell people work backwards. Don't start with your child's kindergarten IEP if your child is 22 years old. So we talk a lot about working backwards, so starting with what's relevant today and then adding the documentation sort of backwards as it goes. And a lot of the current documents, whether it's legal, financial, medical, educational, it's already in a PDF. So if you reach out to those providers and ask them to send you PDF documents, most of it already exists. So it does save a lot of time scanning.
I love that. Yeah. And it's always smart to, well, especially with this, share this with your pediatrician, share this with your plan, your family's plan members. How did they access? Do you bring them your app when you go there? Is there an access point for the providers?
Joel? Oh, were you asking me? Oh, I'm happy to answer. I was handing it over to give him a turn.
Go ahead.
Basically, there's a left side menu on the DaniPlan. I would love to show, maybe you'll show a visual when you air this, but there's these beautiful tiles. It's so beautifully constructed, but there's these tiles that you fill in the information. And then there's some functionality down the left side menu. And one of the options for a tab is to share this plan. So you can choose how to share your plan with others and how much access you want to give them. So we have 3 different ways to share. One is just sending somebody a PDF. So you get to pick and choose which of the information you want to send them in a PDF. Another is to invite somebody to be a shared user, but with limited access. And the last is to share your plan in its entirety. So you, the user, get to choose who and how you share your plan. So we've made it really very, from sending just one journal as a back and forth exchange with a caregiver to every bit of information and then all the versions in between.
I love that. And I just did exactly what you said. And I just went over to here and hopefully this is correct on the right place. And we can just look at it together. How exciting, right?
Yes, if you scroll past this, you'll see there's some, the dashboard will be, So this is what the dashboard this is what the tiles look like that you populate with the information.
Sorry, listeners, you better go view the video. This is our viewing the video is the best step. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, amazing. Hopefully people, and of course, everyone that is listening, just jump on your phone and go to DaniPlan.com right now if you want to look at what we're looking at on the screen that we're viewing. So just to give you a heads up on that. Yeah, incredible. And like you said, it is beautiful. It's wonderfully look at how many options to be able to track and measure. I think it's one of the most important things in getting the right care needs, like you said, Joel, when we're gone and we need someone to have all of that information that is freshly played out in our brains on a daily basis. And, how do we brain transplant that to someone else? So,
and I think it's our biggest fear, right? I mean, we all talk about that kind of like passing before, our kids do, is like a fear for us in our community, right? Because we want to make sure people are caring for them, and people talk a lot about housing and where they're going to live, but it's really not. That's more about a roof over the head. I think what we're most concerned about is they're being cared for the way we want them cared for. Also, they're being cared for the way they want to be cared for, right? And so I think by having these details and by having it done in an electronic fashion allows you to update things on the fly. On your phone, you're at the doctor, you can tweak a medication. If you're sitting there and a behavior change or a new light comes up, you can just tweak it. So it's really easy to kind of keep it updated on the fly, and that when the time comes, it becomes a really powerful, insurance policy that we know that there's a product out there that people have in front of them that's updated. And if they follow it, our loved ones will be, cared for the way that we want them to and the way they want to be cared for. So it's also a nice tool for the future caregiver. So they're not in chaos, also trying to figure everything out that we know so well about our children. Right. And so I think it gives everybody around the horn a lot of peace of mind.
Absolutely. Is there a situation in which you've personally used Dani or had a story from any other users that you can share with us kind of about its amazing abilities?
I have a couple. Deb, do you have anything in mind? I certainly.
Well, I always tell my favorite story. Well, it's not really a favorite story because it was quite scary at the moment, but so you have all your documents in your Dani plan, right? And I talked about being able to send anything to anybody in real time. So it was the first day of school, and Dani's school district doesn't house the post-secondary program, but that is housed in a different school district. So at the beginning of the school year, I had all of Dani's documentation into what is Berkeley Public Schools, but Dani's actual school is a district called Hazel Park. So Dani went to get on the bus the first day of school. At the end of the day, she goes to get on the bus, and they said, we don't have the documentation for bus permissions, and we don't have her seizure plan. And I said, well, I sent it to the Berkeley Public Schools. And they said, we don't have it in Hazel Park, and Dani can't get on the bus. And I'm like, well, hang on 1 second. And I went into my Dani plan, and I went to my documents, and I emailed over her seizure plan and the bus, documentation that she could ride the bus. And in real time, the secretary at the Hazel Park school was able to go out to the bus driver and say, here's the documentation. Dani can ride the bus today. And I was like, wow. Like, had this happened a year ago, I would have been freaking out. Emailing where to get that seizure documentation. And it's definitely going to take a few days. And I'm not even near the school right now, but the bus is supposed to leave. And who's going to hang out with Dani till I get there? So I would have been in entire and complete chaos. But instead, I said, hang on 1 second. I knew where that document was, and I was able to email it in real time. And Dani rode the bus home that day. And so that's my favorite story. I'm like, okay, Joel, we nailed this. Like, this is why we built DaniPlan.
I had the other day was telling me a story about how her child got discontinued from getting their SSI. And that does happen to all of us. We get letters every once in a while. You have to go through the process. And she said if she hadn't had the Dani plan and all the documents that they needed to re-get over to them, she said it would have taken her an extra probably 2-3 months to get reapproved, which is a lot of money for us, right? Or for, our child and whatnot. So I talk about that all the time. Debbie and I talk about if we would have had this when Dani started it when she was young and when we were going for disability and guardianship, how stressful it was to dig up things that we just hadn't had for years, like her diagnosis. We had to have her read that. At 17 and a half or 18 years old, we had her have her re-diagnosed when she was diagnosed at 18 months, just like I think you said your son was around that time too. So yeah, for sure.
You don't, like you said, this being able to access these things in this digital era and everything. Oh, it's so important. And this type of quality system and programming is necessary necessary for the care of our individuals. And I love that it's not, at the beginning, I was like, I'm always talking about autism. It's my life, but I love that it is also personalized for older. It looks like maybe even just like seniors or just any loved one that you want care for. You don't have to have an autistic individual in your life to use a Dani plan. It looks like you can use it for many individuals in your life. So please share this episode with your friends, your families, your older loved ones and family members so that they can all have some peace of mind that there is something there that can help bring, just kind of continuity to everyone in the family, the providers as well. I think just fabulous. Bravo, Pearlmans.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for everything you do. Obviously, put out some amazing information out there that's so helpful to our community. I think that it's great when we're all just kind of working together.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you guys taking this like to tech summits? Tell me a little bit about how the process has been.
Yeah, I've definitely been going to a lot more conferences. I've been speaking at quite a few. So many different organizations as well are kind of looking to adopt it. Even we've had some great success with some big schools who are giving us grants, who see the Dani plan being able to maybe integrate with some of the systems to make things a little more helpful, because some of the systems aren't always connected and talking to the parents the way they need to be. So yeah, it's really been amazing. The enthusiasm for it and the gratitude has been what, drives Debbie and myself for sure. It's kind of a labor of love.
I love that. And for those of you who are listening, DaniPlan.com, go visit their website, check it out, become a member, have the honor to jump on a call with Debbie and meet her and, go through this amazing process. But more importantly, have something to care for your loved one when you're not around anymore. So, oh my goodness, thank you guys so much. As updates come and things, if things change, please reach out to me. Let me know so that I can share with all of our community. And, the invite is always open to you guys to be with us here at the SJ Child Show and share all of the good stuff.
Yeah, and Sarah, just to let you know, I do a lot of different webinars, but we do a general webinar once a month. I have one actually coming up on July 22nd. If anybody goes to the website at DaniPlan.com, there'll be a spot there where they can, it'll say join a webinar.
Wonderful.
There's one coming up, I think, this evening on Wednesday. So and then we have them every month, and that's a great way to really see the Dani plan and I do a full demo of it, and I think then people really get like a deep dive into all the benefits to kind of becoming part of the community.
Incredible.
Yeah. Joel actually does a great demo. And I just want to say too, if you don't want to wait for one of Joel's sessions, we also have a 14-day free trial, which is really nice. If you just want to get in there and start playing around and see what it is and decide whether or not it's something you're interested in, even you can register. It's 14 days free. And you could just see if it's something that you like or don't like. But I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised.
I think so. If everyone that is, a viewer or a listener is more or less probably on our same wavelength and really wanting to, to know and to have the resources. And even if you're just a provider or teacher, you can please provide these resources to the families that you serve. This is just so valuable. And thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time and this incredible service that you've come up with. And thank you for creating it.
Likewise. Thanks for everything you do. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll definitely be in touch.
Awesome.
Good. Thank you.
Sarah.
Heart of the city, she's shining bright. Oh yeah, stories voice resonating, an anthem for all through the trials and the trials. She answers the call, a mother and a fighter, breaking barriers in stride. With love as her guide, she'll never hide. She's changing the world for you, with a heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody, in our journey we all belong. Followers gather like stars in the night, so bright. 44,000 voices shared in the light. She stands for family, advocates for more, a movement of compassion, ways will soar. Podcast together, a symphony of support, creating life, changing rapport. She's changing the world for you, with a heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody, in a journey we all belong. Through her eyes, a vision clear, together we ride, shedding fears in every heart. She plants the seed of understanding and love we dearly need. She's changing the world for you, with a heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody, in a journey we all belong.
Empowering voices, meaningful resources, stronger connections. Be a part of it. This is the Neurodivergent Resource Podcast. Join us.